setup, but nice meeting
Yeah, we
everybody.
can hear you well. Yeah, what we're interested in is where you're tuning in from and also what kind of work do you do?
She's in the chat, she said Montreal and tech.
Can you be more specific, maybe? It'll give us a sense
Oh,
of.
she's lost audio. She's reconnecting.
Am I okay now? Can you hear me properly?
Ah, yes, Judith, that's terrific. Thank you.
I signed off, and so
Yeah, I'm not sure if you
Much.
can hear me right now, but with these headphones, I cannot really speak and hear at the same time. I don't know what's happening, but it happened before.
Well, uh, if we if we were to choose one or the other, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I
Like if the
just
audio has to drop,
took them
the
off.
video has to drop, that's fine.
I just take them off. So yeah, I'm in tech and I've been interested in color for a long time. I'm painting digitally and into makeup, but really the things that are more related to my work are being in calls with design all the time and building an understanding about color has proved important because sometimes you need to make choices about very small things which need to still attract attention on a mobile app, for example. So that's my interest in this webinar. And also, while building apps or digital identity or even projects, I understood that having a better knowledge about colors, what they represent, how they can translate across different mediums, is also interesting and important to me.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think we'll start with the presentation. I'll start with the opening here. Welcome. Welcome to today's Kaleidoscope event featuring Aga, Artka, and Jenny Rebholz. I'll begin with a land acknowledgement. CRSC's activities related to sharing color knowledge and take place across Canada, understood as part of Turtle Island, the ancestral homelands of over 630 First Nations communities, representing more than 50 Indigenous nations and languages. We work to respect, affirm, and support where necessary the inherent treaty rights of all Indigenous peoples across these lands and waters. Our commitment to honoring the knowledge of ways of knowing and wisdom of Turtle Island's Indigenous peoples aims to contribute to the decolonizing work required today for moving towards a just society. I'm Toma During, design professional, colorologist, and VP of the Color Research Society of Canada, coming to you from Vancouver Island. Please enter into the chat where you're coming from. And you've already done that. Thank you. The Color Research Society of Canada is a national nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing color research and knowledge through cross-disciplinary collaboration. We foster the exchange of ideas among artists, designers, scholars, scientists, and industry professionals who share an interest in the application of color through dialogue and partnership across the arts, sciences, and industry. The CRSC supports the development of a vibrant Canadian network engaged in meaningful color research and innovation. We proudly serve as the Canadian member organization of the International Color Association, the AIC. One more thing before I introduce Aga and Jenny. We are looking for presenters to our Kaleidoscope events. If you're an artist, designer, scholar, scientist, or researcher who shares an interest in the application of color that you would like to share with our members, please reach out to me at toma@tomaandco.ca. I'll post my email into the chat in a moment. If you haven't done so already, please download the journal that you will need for today's workshop. The link is also being posted into the chat. This is an interactive workshop, and we encourage you to post questions into the chat or raise your virtual hand during the presentation. Please ensure you've downloaded the link to get your workbook. The link is in the chat now. Once you've logged in, go to Downloads, select Values Driven Designer for the Reflections Journal. Welcome, Aga and Jenny. We are very excited to learn more about aligning your career with what matters most. Aga is known for bringing creative energy, analytical thinking, hard work, and heart to all that she does, from her work as owner and creative director of Artka Interior Design to her role as mentor and community activist. She uses her creativity and entrepreneurial spirit to challenge the status quo, reimagine possibilities, and influence positive change. She seeks knowledge, expands her perspective, and gains inspiration from the work around her. Aga's fearless approach to her career journey exemplifies that if you have the will, then there is a way. Jenny is known for her compassion, positive energy, sense of responsibility, and wordsmithing as principal of Pushpoint Marketing. She focuses her creativity and communication skills on elevating others, helping professionals shine and businesses thrive. She's the ultimate connector. Whether teaching, consulting, or collaborating, Jenny prioritizes building relationships. She defines her own success by leveraging her strengths and seeking and creating opportunities. Jenny's commitment to building impactful content and meaningful connections has forged a fulfilling career path, demonstrating that words matter and who you know is just as important as what you know. Take it away, ladies.
This is great. Well, we love to have this opportunity to connect on a more personal level to what you all do on the creative side. But we'll talk today less about color itself and more about what drives you to do the work with color that you do on a daily basis. Both Jenny and I are creatives from experience and education side, but we have come together to guide and assist designers of all kinds in this self-analysis process that we call the brand review definition and discovery that aids creatives in finding their own place in any field where they practice creativity. And more focused, I suppose, today we will talk about the values, the core values that influence what we do and how we do it as creatives. So let's get started.
One moment. Aga, are you I'm not seeing the slides right now, and it could be a user error on my part.
I see them.
I just switched it to the other. There was a little lag in like me clicking and the slides showing up, so there could
Because
be.
I keep seeing all the speakers, but not the slides. I don't know. Sorry, everyone.
Change maybe your gallery view. Everybody else sees the slides okay?
I see them. Judith, you see the slide?
I can see them, yes.
Sorry. I can't find my gallery.
Your menu, where's your menu button? Yeah.
Menu.
And you go to Oh no, participants won't do that for you.
Oh, here. Sorry. Yeah, it's not giving me. Well, I know the order will just keep going. I'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Well, Jenny and I are tuning in from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we're delighted to have been asked again to lead this values-driven designer session with you all. It's a wonderful opportunity for us all to build meaningful understanding of what drives us as creatives, but also meaningful mentor-mentee relationships. And I know that's one of the main focuses for many organizations, to drive connection and pass down some of the knowledge and experience that you all have gathered in your professional careers. So no matter if you are, leading big projects and you want to, or small projects you want to sort of advance to bigger, or commanding maybe higher fees, or you're exploring an entirely new direction, or you're on the right path if everything feels good, but you're just sort of wanting to assess where you are in your career. We always like to point to the value of spending a little bit of time to assess the situation and really connect with everyone's core values. We have already posted the link in the chat to make sure that you all get the file off the site, which is a companion workbook for this presentation. We encourage you to follow along and do the work while we are prompting questions. Also encourage you to engage in the chat and answer questions as we pose those for you. If it feels too personal, no pressure. Also, if it feels like this is not the right time and your head is not, calm enough to sort of focus and engage, take the journal and do it at a better time. But we love to get a little bit of engagement from you so that the presentation may end up being more about you and less about us. So our journey of the last years with this project, The Brand of You, has been guided by three actually of our core values, and that is our collective passion for design, our collective passion for building connection or making connections, and then building community. As authors of the book that you're seeing on the slide, The Brand of You, we are committed to helping designers find success, whether it's, again, designers that we talk to a lot or on the interior side, but there's also creatives from all across the field, graphic, landscape, color-specific production. So it is really about not the skill of design, but what drives you as a design professional. We base this discussion around finding success in your unique career journeys, because creative fields are not defined from the start. Oftentimes, we do have the flexibility of building something from scratch that fits us and our desire to practice at our fullest. The challenge there is that we all face change in some capacity, uncertainty, or self-doubt, don't we all? And in those moments, it's going back to the core values and understanding why you started, what brought you here to this creative field, and the answers when we feel those feelings of doubt, confusion, or uncertainty are oftentimes within us. We just need to get at it from that sort of deeper place. So we like to start this conversation with positioning. And one of the questions that we like to start with is sort of, let's get back to the feelings of it all. And when we say, have you ever been in a situation where you said yes to a project, a job, a partnership, an employment or a contract, collaboration, opportunity, and it seemed okay in the moment. It seemed like a great thing to do, and then when you committed to it, it all of a sudden returned back to your body, and it felt like, wait, what? What am I signing up for? This does not feel at all aligned. You may not have the words to name the alignment or misalignment in the moment, but have engaged with us in the chat if you've been there. Do you recall a moment? And there's no specifics required. That's a little bit of what we're talking about. Being in tune with our own feelings, because they tell a lot about where we are in our careers and the place that we're in, so that we can shift or pivot and sort of strategically find ourselves in a place that's more conducive and more fit for us to do our best work. So Nicoletta, thank you so much. 100% confirmed. I love that. Well, so this session is about putting your values, our values, in the driver's seat. That's when we will hopefully give you a couple of pointers to connect back to your core driving mechanism, so you can build or continue down on a career path that reflects who you are now and who you want to be in the future. And so then by the end of the session, you'll walk away with not just more of a clarity, and again, whether you're doing this work with us today or if you're downloading the journal and doing a recording, working on it later, this work is supposed to connect you with what matters most to you, and put you in a position of clarity as you move forward. So this is the point in which we sort of connect to the question number one, or step number one from the values-driven designer journal. It should look like this. There are 5 steps in the journal. We will walk through each and every one of them. So we'd like to start with sort of assessing the situation that you're in right now. So no matter where you are in your career, be it you're starting out, the level of excitement is high, opportunities are endless, or you're a mid-career, you have some experiences, maybe thinking about shifting and adjusting things, or you're reflecting on your legacy in this industry and really looking forward to the next chapter, the third chapter, as we sometimes hear it being called. Your values are a powerful guide. And so what matters to you may change over time. And we were just asked this yesterday, actually. Do your core values change? Probably not, but they shift in priorities. And when we really take the time to evaluate our current moment, you can easier identify what is important to you now. And maybe that thing is still on the sort of top 3 priority list, but it doesn't take the first place anymore. Career paths, the next thing to sort of keep in mind is that career paths are not linear, and especially in a creative field, no matter how you practice or how you work with color, oftentimes creative careers are, it's a open box of opportunities. And for some, it may be really empowering and allowing us to utilize our creativity to find our own place. And for others, it may be paralyzing and really scary because the opportunities are indeed endless. And the commitment to taking a step forward and building something that is aligned with you, but not with your creative friend or coworker or a colleague, may seem like such a big such a big leap. For that reason, we're here. We built the brand of you to be there to support those career decisions. And then a last point why we're talking about these things is that the values offer focus and fuel our creative pathway, but also fuel our creative expression. It feels really stressful and anxious when we don't have an identified way, a focused path forward. It may feel a little bit scatterbrained. It may feel like you're moving in circles and never seeing progress. And so that's another reason to sort of always, when you feel in the moment, to always go back to the core values. So again, we know that this may not necessarily be something that you ever make time for. We oftentimes have to remember to like go back to your values when things are not going as planned, perhaps, or if things are feeling hectic. But this is your time. You've taken this afternoon lunch hour or whenever you're listening to it to do a little bit of self-analysis work and realignment that would create opportunities for your own professional growth. I'll let Jenny talk through the definition and a little bit about the brand of you and how we see it, because it will influence how we're guiding you through the values-driven designer journal.
Yes. So the brand of you comes in form of the book that Aga and I wrote starting 10 years ago with the first edition and our relaunch just this past fall. And so what I want to talk to you about is sort of the fundamentals of the brand of you and how then as we dig into your values, how it really ends up defining who you are and helping you communicate who you are. So in our book, we offer personal branding, networking, and strategic career development guidance. We really think that no matter your professional focus and, from tech to interiors, graphics, fashion, it's so important to commit time and energy to really understanding what you're all about and developing and promoting the brand of you. So what is our definition of the brand of you? It's more than that visual graphic or logo mark. For us, it's really about people. And we define it as a connection, a relationship, and a promise. And what that means is that connection when you meet someone and you have that spark moment, that first impression, what makes you memorable in those first interactions. And then as you start to get to know someone and dig deeper into relationship development, what are they learning about you? What's important for them to know about you? And it's as you develop those relationships and start offering things that you can do and say who you are, it's fulfilling on the promise of what you say that you do. And that's what ends up solidifying our relationships, right? You have those first meetings, then you start getting to know each other, communicating with each other, and eventually, maybe working together and fulfilling on the promise of the things that you've committed to. So, who are you as a professional, as a person, and how does it differentiate you from others in your field? That's really what the work of the brand of you is about understanding who you are and then learning how to communicate it. And really, we want you to think of the communication of the brand of you as storytelling. The reality is your story has been evolving since school or really childhood even. You've been gaining experiences and adding layers to talk about yourself, right? Including what your coworkers or other people say about you. Thinking about the credentials that you are acquiring, volunteering that you do, leadership roles. Maybe it's public speaking or you've received some awards or your personal interests. You love nature or, fashion. Um, And all of these things start to add layers and color to your story. So your brand in your story is about sharing your competencies, your unique personality. That's really, we want you to shine through the brand of you. And it's your core values and life experiences that really start to round out this explanation and this story of who you really are. So, what is your story? Who are you? And what do you want in your career?
And if I may, before we move through
Mm-hmm.
to connect this conversation to core values, is that, and I know that we're talking to creative people that work with color. And our first instinct when we think about branding is color, color value, all the sort of technical side of color as it relates to sales and personality and characteristics. But we, as you have noticed, our definition of a brand um, has very little to do with visual side of branding and everything to do with the personal side of branding. So the connection side of how a brand is reflected on consumers from a personal branding standpoint, how it's reflected onto your network, and how you show up as a human um, in various environments. Because we always go back to it. We work in very collaborative environments. We work with people all the time. People hire people. The work that we do may open doors, and our portfolios or previous work experiences may shine and allow you to be entered or be invited into rooms and conversations. But the truth of the matter is that closing some of those opportunities requires a personal connection. People like to work with people that they like and trust. And then they find a relational interaction, a sort of a longevity to that connection. And that's really what personal brand from our standpoint is all about.
And really, when you think about the importance of that human connection, even when we're talking about major retail brands, it's more than the specific product or the logo mark that they have. It's about what your experience is with that company, with that product, the promise of what that product is going to do for you, and then if it actually performs and provides you with that feeling and that experience, and it's long lasting and quality and all those things. So there are human elements in that commercial branding side, but that's what we really want you to take hold of is, fulfilling on the promises that you're going to make and the people you're going to work with. So these core values that we're going to dig into and help you identify what's important for you, they really shape the brand of you. We like to think of them as career accelerators because they differentiate you. They influence things that you go after. They influence the credentials that you seek. They influence the types of organizations that you join. And they really help you position your worth as you're moving through your career journey. Um, so whether you're aware of it or not, they have been informing your career decisions along the way. And if you really think of those kind of gut check moments when things you're like, oh, this feels a little bit off, or this feels, really good. It's your core values that's kind of, helping you feel in those moments and assess your level of satisfaction. So we want to make sure that you see that more clearly now and really try to identify what exactly the value is and why you're having that energy reaction or that, satisfying moment or dissatisfying moment. So acknowledging your values is the next step in taking your career in the right direction for you. So that's important again with the brand of you because this is your personal professional journey, and what may work for you doesn't necessarily work for someone else. What is a priority for you isn't necessarily the same for someone else, and that's okay. So let's go back to the reflection journal. And we're going to start with an internal audit. And you're seeing in the journal and on the screen a number of values that we've put out there for you. But also, there may be things that aren't on this list that could come to mind. So we want you to start thinking about what these words mean for you. And maybe circle 5 that speak to you, but then really try to narrow it down to 3 for the purpose of these exercises. Um, and they'll become the guiding points for the rest of this session. So what do these values mean to you in your career right now? So really put yourself in this moment. What is rising to the top for you? And what values do you want to honor as you think about where you're headed in your career journey? So we welcome you to again share some of your values that you're narrowing down to in the chat.
Yeah, we put creativity while you're mowing this over, and
Yeah.
if you feel like sharing, please do. Otherwise, again, this is inner work, and sometimes stuff like this is more private and intimate than we like to acknowledge. But a couple things to add to maybe spark some interesting observations here. Creativity is top of our list. It's a core value that I think we all share. And how does it show up? We're people that use creativity to express ourselves, right? Oftentimes, this is our platform. Whatever your skill level is and whatever your sector of expertise is, this is how we express. This is how we practice freedom of speech and freedom of expression and freedom of independence and word and view and sight, our belief system. So that, creativity is probably high up there for many. Freedom, some may choose that, especially those who are business owners running operations, when they value freedom of thought, maybe freedom of conversation and bringing diverse insights into a collaborative environment, maybe balance. Jenny likes to bring that one up as like, I really, I won't speak for you. Go ahead.
Because I'm a Libra, I need balance. We were talking a little bit about signs in a recent presentation, and yeah, I really do in work, in food, in all things. My body requires balance. So yeah, if I'm at the screen too long, then I have
Collaboration.
to get outside.
Yeah.
We had
For
someone
some of
bring
us,
up wealth, and we talked about how don't be shy about that. Like, um, th you know, that can be a driver in decisions you make and positions that you choose if that is an important aspect of what you need in your life.
and that may lead to balance, right? Like if
Yeah.
you,
Or
if
freedom.
right. So
Yeah.
there's a couple of different core values that may go hand in hand, although they seem like from the outside perspective, they seem like they're maybe excluding um, each other. They really are meant to sort of uplift. What else? I know that one of my core values has to do with flexibility, autonomy, independence. And again, some of these words, you may resonate better with one versus the other, but the meaning may be very similar. I also, speaking of astrology, I am a Scorpio, so I like to dig deep into topics, into situations. So learning and knowledge is sort of top of my always strive for knowing more and digging deeper into things. So if I'm not in a position where I can continue to learn, continue to challenge, continue to ask questions, which may sound silly sometimes, but that's my way of practicing that core value or bringing that forward, I think I would feel like I'm not being given opportunity to shine my fullest, brightest light.
Yeah,
So
and for
that's
me,
some examples.
yeah, relationships and connection. And I see first of all, Toma, thanks for being a fellow Libra. We can talk about
Uh,
that later. Autonomy, simplicity, balance, all, creativity, impact, authenticity, all good things to work with as we move forward.
yeah, circle those as we move through. And again, this is only 20 core values that we give you to work with. If you feel like you're guided by core values that are not on the list, just jot them down on the side. But we flip through the next step of the reflection journal, and that's storytelling. And here we'll return back to our bodies for some clues. Your values shape your professional identity, the work that you pursue, and how you communicate your worth, and what you attract. Again, I think what Jenny mentioned earlier, whether you realize it or not, we live through our values, whether we are able to name them or not. We can find some clues of values in action when we look to the past. So this activity is about reflecting on or recalling very specific moments. So indulge us in a little bit of memory lane activity. So can you recall a project, a moment, a job, a situation in your professional experience that felt good? Like it felt effortless. It felt like you were in full joy moment. It felt like everything was right about it.
Yeah. Give me more of that. I want more
And
of that.
it doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest moment of all. It doesn't have to be the biggest project you've ever worked on. It doesn't have to be even successful in any way to the outside world, but it has to be successful to you. Like this is that felt awesome. I had the most fun. My body felt like I was doing it right. There was no friction. Maybe there was a lot of friction, but that's what you thrive in. Like it felt like you were in your element. If you can find yourself in that place, that moment is where we want you to stick and sort of study the details. So what what about it made it special? Is it the people? Is it the subject that you were involved in? Is it the place that you were in? Is it the season? Is it geographical location? Is it the kind of work that the team or you yourself were working on? Again, was it the relationships with people involved? Was it just you independently producing this thing? What about it made it uniquely stick out? Because again, if you can recall that moment, it made an impact. It made itself, or it made impact enough to be sort of stamped into your core memory. And there's value in just that itself. So that's something, we're giving you a little bit of place on the page with step number 3 to jot down. Yeah, and they don't have to be full sentences, maybe just some ideas for now to consider. But these moments, when you look to the past, give us a little bit of clues on to what core values were present in that moment. And then what alignment may look like for you moving forward. This exercise is about looking back, but you can do the same thing with sort of the opposing feeling. Is there a moment that comes up in your professional career where your body didn't feel in alignment, where you immediately, this connects with the question that we asked at the very beginning, where your body immediately felt stressed, anxious, in overdrive, when you were maybe challenged or put in a position that did not align with what you believe or stand for. It could be a very simple moment, or it could be, a major situation in your professional career. These things, there's no right or wrong. There's no, our experiences may be minor and make a major impact, or vice versa. If you feel like sharing, sort of snippets, or just confirming that, yes, you're connecting with some of those moments, and at least we would know that you're, tracking with us. I know that both Jenny and I have had personal experiences and just recent conversations too with people who would say that some of their work experiences, for example, help to inform that one of their values has not been present early on. And now that they see that was the sort of culprit, they focus very clearly on making sure that the specific core value is present in opportunities that they say yes to.
And that clarity can help you ask the right questions before you say yes or no to a position or organizational involvement, whatever it may be. So taking this time to really think about it and analyze it is good for your health and well-being.
So in the journal, we pose some follow-up questions. In the moment that you're recalling, whether positive or negative, what exactly happened? Which of your values were being honored? This is, I guess, it could be a confirmation of the values that you circled earlier, or this is actually a moment where you realize, oh, wait, there is a value that I know was on display or wasn't being honored in this moment, and I kind of forgot about it, or it didn't come to me initially. These questions hopefully will help inform, if a value did not come forth right away, that something is truly important to you, and an experience from your own life is attesting to it.
Yeah, and if there's a different value than what you've already referenced, share it in the chat and let us know that something this memory lane journey has reminded you of that's important.
So on our own, go ahead.
I think I could share a bit. So I did have a project or an engagement where at the beginning the team was right. It was a new project, and all of the values that I mentioned in the chat, autonomy, simplicity, balance, were really into that part of the engagement. I felt like I could grow. The pace was sustainable. So yeah, this confirmed the values from the previous exercise.
Great.
So how, this is really critical for that you're able to position the values that were present. And if you're able to sort of keep that in mind for future collaboration, right? Like you're able to run the opportunities past this sort of filter. Does it honor my autonomy and my creative input? Will somebody be micromanaging my, solutions and decisions along the way? If so, then you're out. Or maybe you bring that up to confirm, like, I really need to work my own way. Simplicity, is it simplicity through the process? Is it simplicity in how people communicate? Is it simplicity in the output itself and the deliverable? So that's obviously for you to define. But if you're seeing that already, that's like gold. We're so happy to hear that. And then balance, we talked a little bit about that. And you can define it even deeper, right? Like, what exactly does that look like for a collaborative process?
Yeah, it allows you to set expectations at the beginning of any collaboration, understanding that. Or, people who can have conversations with managers or other leadership if there's something that all of a sudden, well, I had all this, but now something's changed in the organization. The conversations you can have to try to regain those important elements.
Thank you for sharing. I'll share another core value in a story. I held a job, recent graduate situation. So I was exploring myself and trying environments and opportunities to see how I operate and sort of connect what I learned in school to the real world. I ended up working for a little bit in a residentially focused retail furniture, accessory, home goods type environment. And although the place was beautiful, it was very inspiring. The people that I got to work with were, nice, friendly team. But where it started to show that I wasn't in alignment was with the actual work that we were uh, asked to do for our most affluential clients. It's great for the business that they had these opportunities to continue to serve, to redesign or update parts of homes for some of these clients that continue to come back for a refresh or a complete redo of spaces that we did just 6 months ago. But for me, that seemed like that work seemed misaligned with what I considered wasteful, what I considered sort of lacking function. And it was all about beauty and beautification, and the greater meaning was missing. So that short experience taught me very quickly that for the work that I'm doing, it needs to be aligned with utilizing my sort of approach to resourcefulness and thinking through solutions that are really meaningful and functional over just being guided by beauty and luxury. So that's an example of how core values were not being honored, but a lesson nonetheless that I have taken with me for the remainder of my career, and I continue to connect with as opportunities come along. We also, you may notice if you have visited the website, thebrandofview.com, or if you have a copy of the book, we tell our own stories, professional stories as an inspiration, but also reference 10 other professionals' career journeys, and their experiences span geographical locations throughout the nation. They practice in different design sectors. The one you may be familiar with, we tell a story of Stacey Garcia and her career journey. Her core values are being honored in all the work that she does, and those have to do with resilience, empathy, and leading with heart. Her team, there's many opportunities for a leader to do to lead their team and build culture, but she really does lean into these core values when you talk to the people that she works with internally and externally. As a designer, as an entrepreneur and founder of multiple brands, she's navigated the highs and lows, which is true for any business owner, in both business and community building and career journey herself. She has been called a warrior. And I guess that term itself is very much reflectant of being a resilient person, and being a leader who continues to sort of plow through challenges. At the core of what kind of leader she is and what kind of designer she is her commitment to showing up with heart, making decisions guided not just profit, but also by purpose. And this is the whole idea of core values and this definition, our personal definition of the brand of you. We're all guided by a greater, deeper meaning, and that purpose for the work that we do. Stacey, we encourage you to read Stacey's story in the book. It's absolutely inspiring. And it is a reminder that when your career reflects your core values, along with your success, you can inspire others to be their best selves.
Another
And I know
story that
Jenny.
Yeah, another story we tell in the book is about Megan Stone. And, what's inspiring about her, or the sort of the lesson to take away, is impact was one of her core values, and specifically the health benefits of cannabis. And so her drive was to elevate the perception of the products, the spaces, and the people in the cannabis industry. And it was really, it's her creativity and passion was channeled into this very distinct niche, um, and she really wanted to change the impression of the dispensary experience. And so years ago, as that was really sort of a revolution in the design industry and in the cannabis industry, she was leading the way on that, bringing beautiful, high-end, well-considered retail, consumer-driven environments, to the market with branding and community stories woven into the design of every detail of these spaces. She is a true innovator, and even as she was working on environment, she was thinking about products that the industry still needed, and she's sort of focused her attention there currently. But read more about her, and look her up and see some of the amazing spaces she's created. For my own journey, I often talk about recognition as being a core value, and it's interesting because it's not about me receiving accolades, it's about me helping others receive attention. Um, and it started coming out of school when people sometimes were confused with what is an interior designer. And so my role in helping educate people on the profession was a driver for that recognition. And then how I work with my clients these days, because I understand and the technicality and everything involved with being an interior designer or an architect or anyone in touching the built environment, I really thrive on helping them get recognized for the great work they do, and the mission and vision that they have and are bringing to the world. So when they um, receive recognition, that's what fuels a lot of what I do. So hopefully, our storytelling, helps you think more about, the stories behind how your values are showing up for you.
And why is that important before we move back to the journal is that we know we've lived this in our own bodies, but we know that there's a lot of people out there who report feeling burnt out, feeling like they don't want to do the work anymore. They're exhausted, they're achy, there's symptoms of all kinds showing up. They're confused. They don't know what to, I just don't have a clear path or clear understanding of what to do next. I feel like I lack confidence, and my self-worth is undefined to me. These are some things that we have identified through conversation that are sort of a big deal for people, especially creatives, when you're doing the work that's not aligned with your core values, where the production side of design takes over and the meaning and the purpose is lacking. For the sake of time, we'll continue moving through. When it comes to applying the values to bold decisions, there are some things that we know take time and take a strategic approach. And the values can influence those decisions, such as obtaining credentials, maybe going back to school, getting another degree or certificate, or training yourself in an area of focus that you'd like to move to or are passionate about. We know that there is knowledge to be gained in negotiation skills and asking for what you want, but that strength and self-confidence oftentimes comes back or comes from our core values. If wealth is one of your core values, it would most likely be easier for you to ask for more money, ask for an opportunity where you are able to garner higher fees. because you're in alignment and you're goal oriented. That's not to say that it can't, for others where wealth doesn't make it to core value number one, you can't get to the place. But that's a skill I think that we all need to work harder on, especially women and especially creatives. And when it comes to leadership too, it's not, some of us or most of us don't become leaders over time. It's a skill and it's a practice and experience building path. And it takes time and commitment and positioning. So it's asking for additional opportunities at work. It's maybe volunteering with organizations that will give you a boost and presence and opportunities to practice your leadership skills. So some of these things, again, are not, they're not disconnected from core values and what you need in order to remain in alignment but continue to grow as a practicing creative.
And then we go back to people, right? We talked about in the beginning and the human factor. And so building a network of support is such a critical piece of this whole process, your whole career journey. Whatever is feeding you and your values, how can you reach out and connect with the right people to help that flourish? Asking for help, telling people what you're seeking and how you need assistance, so you're sharing that. And this whole organizational involvement, you're here today because of organizational involvement. And sometimes the ability to stretch your leadership muscle and all of those things happen outside of the actual workplace. You find your voice as a leader in an organization and then can translate that into your daily work. So we really encourage you to identify people either that you know or that you need to know or want to know to help continue to nurture your core value identification and this journey of getting in alignment with that.
So we'll go back to the journal. Step number 4 is all about career alignment. So where we have been now on this journey of self-reflection is we've identified the moment that you're in. Right now, we asked many of you as you were tuning in, what you do and what your current situation is. Step number 2 was actually naming the core values, picking a couple that seem good for you, then doing a little check with finding yourself in those moments from the past that felt good or opposite that did not feel good in your body, and what were they, why they made it, why are you recalling those specific ones. And step number 4 is career alignment as it relates to the current moment. So how are you currently aligned with your core values in your place of work right now, in your life as it relates to your professional situation? Do you feel like your core values that you've identified or called out are being honored? Are you practicing them with every project, with every opportunity? And maybe that's wishful thinking with most opportunities.
Or are you compromising in any way? And how does that feel?
Do you feel like there are things that you would like to see more of or less of happening? Do you need more breaks throughout the day? Your calendar is booked morning to night and you feel like that's not sustainable. Do you, on the less side, do you need less distractions to do your best work? Are you too exposed in the office and people just come and go and you feel like there's no focus time at all?
And again, the human factor, who can help support that growth? Put some names of those people down, or who do you need to get to know?
And then out of this process, and again, we know that it may not necessarily take an hour of work as we're talking through it. This may be something that you need to come back to, sleep on it, walk with it, return with a greater clarity. But the idea is to, this is the sort of a committing, the moment of committing to change, whatever that may be. So if you were able to identify that your core values in the current moment are not fully being honored, what can you do? Are you in control, in a position to change anything about it? There are things that we don't control. We don't control other people. We don't control employees or, our other team members. But what we control is ourselves and what boundaries we set. So can you ask? Can you ask for help? Can you ask for, blocks of time to, are you able to make adjustments, whether it's your schedule, whether it's your responsibilities, whether it's the kind of work that you're doing, maybe it's not even the environment that you're currently in, that needs to change. There was a question. Did you put the heart into the hand? Oh, X. Maybe I'm not. Am I not getting the comment?
Sorry, I couldn't resist putting that in because it was right there in the middle of the hand, and it looked.
Looks so perfect.
It was the
Oh,
previous,
yeah.
the previous. It was the previous image you showed. Previous slide you showed.
Oh, in the previous slide.
Yeah.
I understand. I thought you were referring to the values and the numbers in the journal.
Yeah.
I was
No, I was
referencing back.
The visual side of me.
If you're at a point where you can make a commitment, write it down. It's always more impactful to articulate, sort of get it out of our heads what we're after, whether it's goal setting, the commitment that you make. If you're able to share it, this is our way to share it with the world. Right? Like sort of quiet sharing would be write it down on a piece of paper. Don't let anybody to see it. Louder commitment would be write it down and then tell a friend or tell a colleague and say, you know what, I've realized that there are things that I need more or less of, and I'm going to commit to this type of change. I want you to know because I know that you will keep me in check, and maybe you can check in with me once a week or once a month to make sure that I'm doing this thing that I said I would be doing. And when we say bold,
yeah. I was to say it becomes very real when you actually tell someone else. Like you take it off the paper and someone will ask you a question about it. But yeah, I was, I believe, going to talk about our definition of bold, meaning it doesn't have to be big and outrageous and crazy. The simplest thing could feel very bold to you. Being bold is choosing something to set you in motion forward, to get you closer. And so it could be something very small, but for you, it feels impactful and a bold move.
change of any kind may feel bold and it shakes our world. And the reason why we're doing these sessions and the reason why we show up for creatives is to let you know that this work is never ending, that it's continuous work, that we are all doing it, though we oftentimes don't talk about it, and that you don't need to have it all figured out at the beginning. We may feel like as you're starting your careers, it's easier. You're expected to ask questions because you just don't know. The more we move through our careers, we almost feel like we're shunned upon if you don't know any something, right? If you come off as like, I've never come across this. I don't know. Will you tell me more? The more we practice, the more I think we're putting ourselves in this very pressure focused space. And this type of work, it should not be judged or filtered by, well, I should just know what my core values are, period. If we don't make time for things like this, they never go clarity doesn't just come on its own. So we encourage you all to take the time.
And the driver behind everything Aga and I've done with the brand of you and our focus on the values, it's really to let you know you're not alone in this journey, and we're here to support you no matter, what you're contemplating, wherever you are in your career journey. We talk to people at all different levels, people who are even contemplating retirement but not ready to retire, but looking for a very fulfilling next or final chapter in their career. So stay connected with us, and we love having conversations and building relationships with all types of professionals. So if you visit our website, you can gain access to the book, and there's blog posts and an e-news, and you can book sessions with us or connect with us on LinkedIn.
Well, we hope you found value in this conversation that wasn't about color per se, but about sort of aligning your work with color, with your greater purpose, and finding meaning in the work that you're producing and putting out there into the world every day. Thank you very
Colorful,
much.
vibrant life, career. We're excited for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny and Aga. That was such a great workshop. I think we all feel a little bit more connected to our core values and confident in our personal brand. It is a good checkup, as you say, no matter what part of our careers we're in. So one more thing before we sign off. The CRSC is always seeking volunteers to help run the organization. It is Canada's only interdisciplinary organization dedicated to the study of color, and we need your time and expertise in running the programs that members like you benefit from. If you would like to become a member at large or join a committee, please reach out to me at toma@tomaandco.ca or visit our website at colorresearch.org. Thank you again, and hope the rest of your day is a colorful one.
Thank you.
Thank you.